As the movie begins, we see a Chinese chef named Gao. He cooks incredibly delicious dishes and owns a small restaurant. Gao keeps his restaurant very clean and takes great pride in his profession. However, in the past, Gao faced some bad situations. Gao's father had left him with a chef to learn cooking. That's when Gao decided that one day he would become a great chef. He wants to achieve everything he couldn't during his childhood. Gao's father himself is a great chef. Now he is an extraordinary master chef. But Gao used to hate his father very much because he spent his entire childhood without him. He missed his father deeply, yet his father never cared about him. On the other side, Gao's father is secretly happy because no one knows he has a son. This makes Gao feel even more sad. In the next scene, we are introduced to another young and handsome chef named Paul. He used to cook for very rich families. Paul wants to open a restaurant in his home country in honor of his father. So, he rejects several foreign offers and returns to his homeland. Later, Paul goes to a fish seller and asks for a big fish. But the fish seller says he doesn't have one. Then Gao comes and asks the same seller for a big fish. The seller gives Gao a large fish. Seeing this, Paul gets very angry. He stares at Gao furiously, wondering why the seller gave the fish to him instead. The seller, noticing both of them getting angry, decides to cut the fish into 2 parts so there won't be any conflict between them. Still, both Paul and Gao continue to glare at each other with anger. In the next scene, Paul's high-class restaurant opens that very day. It's set up to be very clean, modern, and beautifully decorated. Paul's restaurant is located directly opposite Gao's. Gao's friends become worried after seeing Paul's restaurant because it starts attracting a lot of customers. Everyone wants to taste the food at Paul's new place. To support Gao, his friends announce a discount offer at his restaurant. The offer attracts many customers, and people start returning to Gao's place. This angers Paul's friends. They go to Gao's friends and ask, "What's your problem? Can't you stand our success?" In the end, both sides decide to form 2 teams and hold a cooking competition to see which chef cooks the tastiest food. They force both Gao and Paul to participate in the competition. At first, neither of them agrees, but when they look at each other, the fish shop incident comes to their minds, and then they both agree to compete. In the next scene, a fish is placed on the table. Both of them are required to cut it. Paul goes first. He cuts the fish smoothly and quickly removes the bones. His technique impresses everyone. Then Paul throws the fish toward Gao. Gao also cuts the fish very well. When he shows the cut fish to everyone, the meat is separated from the skin without sticking. This too impresses the crowd. Both Paul and Gao receive equal compliments. There is a chairman present at the event, and he tells them that they should participate in an international chef competition. Both chefs are eager to prove who among them is the best. They get ready for the competition. Later, Paul speaks to the media saying, "I used to cook in France. After coming back to China, I realized that people here still cook in old traditional ways." He is indirectly mocking Gao. Seeing this interview, Gao becomes very angry. Everyone now knows that a competition is going to happen between them. If they win, they'll enter the final round, and they'll also get the opportunity to meet a master chef, who is none other than Gao's father. In the next scene, a friend of Paul comes to Gao's restaurant and invites Gao and his friend to dine at Paul's restaurant. Gao and his friend go there. But instead of Paul, his friend serves the food. The dish looks like a fried egg placed in a plant pot, but the taste is very unique. After tasting the dish, Gao thinks Paul's cooking is very advanced. Then Gao walks straight into the kitchen angrily and says to Paul, "Are you trying to show off your tasty food and prove that you're a master chef?" Paul quietly tells Gao to cook some meat and says, "Let's see who can make it tastier." Gao accepts the challenge. He cooks the meat very well, and the dish looks delicious. Then Paul says, "I'll cook the same recipe and show you." He prepares the dish in very little time. Gao smells Paul's dish and finds no difference between his own dish and Paul's. At that moment, Gao realizes that Paul's cooking style is very advanced. Feeling upset, he leaves the place. Later, someone comes to Gao and says, "Your father is calling you." Gao goes to meet his father and asks, "Why did you call me? You don't even acknowledge that I'm your son." His father replies, "I didn't want people to think you're participating in the international chef competition just because you're my son. That's why I acted like I didn't know you. I wanted you to compete on your own merit." Gao responds, "I don't need your help. When I needed you the most, you weren't there. But now, I'll prove myself in the very field you left me in." He walks away, because he still doesn't trust his father. The next day, the international cooking competition begins. Preparations are in full swing. Both participants, Gao and Paul, are ready. The timer starts. Paul prepares a dessert, while Gao cooks a chicken dish. Both work very hard on their dishes. Paul finishes his dish ahead of time, and shortly after, Gao also completes his delicious dish within the given time. The judges and audience are highly impressed. The judges taste both dishes and both receive the same score, as the judges find no significant difference in taste. Both dishes are extremely tasty. Then, one of the judges comes up to the stage and clears the tie. Both dishes were delicious, but Paul completed his dish in much less time. Therefore, Paul is the winner of this competition. Paul is thrilled. But Gao is deeply upset that he lost the competition. He doesn't even return home afterward. Instead, he goes to a video game center and spends several days playing games, wasting time. One day, the chef who taught Gao cooking in his childhood comes to see him. This was the same chef Gao's father left him with years ago. The chef tells Gao, "Winning and losing is part of life. Just because you didn't win today doesn't mean you'll never win." Even then, Gao doesn't want to go home. But after the chef convinces him a lot, he finally returns. Now, Gao must prepare for the next competition. Meanwhile, Paul, excited by his win, returns to his restaurant. He celebrates and enjoys with his friends. While they're talking, one of Paul's friends asks, "Why don't you give your friend a chance? She's been with you for a long time." Paul's friend tells him, "Let her represent your restaurant in the international competition. She will uphold the name of your brand." Paul replies, "She's a good friend. I've never denied that. But she doesn't know how to cook. So how can she represent my restaurant internationally?" From his friend's words, it becomes clear that they are all strongly supporting her. Just then, Paul's female friend arrives. She places 2 cups of soup in front of Paul and says, "Tell me which one has more salt." Paul goes silent. He can't answer, because he naturally lacks the ability to taste. His taste senses don't function. Paul feels deeply hurt. He doesn't like that his own friend exposed him in front of others. Then she says, "What happened, Paul? Did you think I loved you? That's your misunderstanding. I only pretended to be friends with you so I could enter the international competition. For someone like me, it's not as easy to get into such a competition. I've kept your secret all this time, and in return, what did you give me? Not even a single opportunity. I won't stay silent anymore. I will participate in the competition too." Now, another secret is revealed. Paul's friend has been cheating him with another friend. They're in a relationship. They plan to betray Paul, sell his restaurant, and use the money to start a new life together. Later that night, Paul walks out of the restaurant and sits outside, drinking alone. It's late. Gao sees Paul and approaches him. He asks, "Why are you sad, Paul? You should be happy since you won the competition. What's bothering you?" Paul responds, "Yes, I won, but I've lost a lot too. Let me tell you a secret. Look at that poster." Paul points to a poster. It shows Gao's father, the master chef. Paul says, "That man is my idol. I've always wanted to be like him." Gao gives a small smile and says, "He's my father." Paul is surprised. Gao continues, "You think he's a great man. But he's not. He abandoned me when I was a child. He left me because he thought I would be an obstacle to his career. I grew up without a father." Paul responds, "Don't be sad. So, what do we do now?" Then Gao says, "Let's throw these bottles." Both of them throw empty bottles at the poster of Gao's father, and they laugh and enjoy the moment. That's how their friendship begins. After that, Paul returns to his restaurant, where he sees his friends negotiating a deal to sell the restaurant. Paul is shocked and says, "What's going on here? How can you try to sell my restaurant without my permission?" One of his friends replies, "Who are you taking with you to the second round of the international cooking competition? Because you'll need a partner for that." Paul calmly says, "I've already decided who I'm taking. I'll take the one who truly deserves it." Then he names Gao. Hearing this, Paul's friends feel very jealous. One of them warns, "You're ruining your career, Paul. Remember that." Paul headbutts him and kicks everyone out. After they all leave, the chef who taught Gao cooking asks Paul, "Are you really going to take Gao with you to the competition?" Paul puts his hand on Gao's shoulder and replies, "Yes, he deserves it." Everyone feels very happy. They begin preparing for the competition together. They decide to help each other. Paul teaches Gao his modern cooking skills, and Gao teaches Paul his traditional cooking methods. One day, Gao tells Paul, "Don't feel bad that your taste senses don't work. I'll help you recover them." He begins to guide Paul step by step. Paul also continues teaching Gao new techniques. They spend great time together, practicing daily, cooking, singing, dancing, and talking. Their bond grows stronger. In the next scene, we see the second round of the international competition. Gao and Paul prepare their dish very carefully and skillfully. Within a short time, they present a perfect dessert dish. The judges are extremely impressed. They say, "We've never tasted a dish like this before." Gao and Paul win the second round. A few days later, the third round of the competition begins. In this round, Gao will have to compete with his own father, the master chef. Paul tells Gao, "I believe you'll win this round. You should be the one to participate." But Gao replies, "You're a better chef than me. You know advanced cooking methods. You can cook far better than I can." Then Paul says, "No." Paul tells Gao, "I opened my restaurant and fulfilled my father's dream. Now it's your turn to fulfill your father's dream. He wants to see you become a great chef." He continues, "Cook in front of your father and prove to him that you are truly a great chef." Gao agrees and says, "Thank you, Paul." In the next scene, the third round of the competition begins. On one side, the master chef, Gao's father, starts preparing his dish. Gao also begins cooking. But just before he starts, Gao remembers his childhood, the times when other kids mocked him after his father left him behind. Lost in those painful memories, he hesitates. At that moment, his father walks over and splashes water on Gao's face, saying, "Start cooking." Gao quickly snaps out of it and starts cooking. Meanwhile, his father prepares a very delicious sweet dish. He presents it like a flower rising from the fire. The flower's taste is outstanding, and the judges love it. Then it's Gao's turn to present his dish. He takes his noodles and walks over to his father. The master chef tastes it and is extremely impressed. In the past, Gao's father used to scold him for not knowing how to cook noodles properly, but today, Gao has cooked the perfect noodles. His father can't stop eating them and is clearly emotional. As Gao begins to walk away, his father calls out, "Well done, my son. You've made the noodles perfectly." He gets emotional. Since they both share the same last name, the audience realizes they are father and son. Not only has Gao fulfilled his own dream, but he has also fulfilled his father's dream. In the final scene, Gao and Paul are seen working together at their restaurant. They now have more customers than ever before. Everyone loves their food, and the place is always buzzing with activity. And that's how the movie ends. Thank you for watching our movie recap. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing for more great content. Your support means a lot to us. Have a wonderful day.